he then goes to the parable of the tenant. 33. Here another parable. There was a master of a house. Notice we're still talking authority here, aren't we? There was a master of a house who planted a vineyard. Notice we're still talking fruit, agriculture. And put a fence around it, and dug a wine press in it, and built a tower, and leased it to tenants, and went into another country. When the season for fruit drew near, he sent his servants to the tenants to get his fruits. And the tenants took his servants and beat one, killed another, and stoned another. Again he sent other servants, more than the first, and they did the same to them. Finally he sent his son to them, saying, They will respect my son. When the tenants saw the son, they said to themselves, This is the heir. Come, let us kill him and have his inheritance. So the tenants have hijacked the vineyard, but they recognize that they don't have legal authority for it. They are usurpers. They are bandits. So when the son comes, the only son, we can sort of infer, it doesn't specifically say that, but you can infer it's an only son. At that point, they say, well, if we kill the son and the heir, then there is no one to take it from us. 39. And they took him, threw him out of the vineyard, and killed him. When therefore the owner of the vineyard comes, what will he do to those tenants? They said to him, He will put those wretches to a miserable death, and let out the vineyard to other tenants, who will give him the fruits in their season. Yeshua said to them, Have you never read in the Scriptures, the stone that the builders rejected has become the cornerstone? This is the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes. Therefore I tell you, the kingdom of God will be taken away from you and given to the people producing its fruits, and the one who falls on this stone will be broken in pieces, and when it falls on anyone, it will crush him. That should automatically take you back to Daniel. Daniel chapter 2. You have the dream of Nebuchadnezzar. So I'm now back in Daniel 2:37. You, O king, the King of kings, to whom the God of heaven has given the kingdom, the power and the might and the glory, and into whose hands he has given, wherever they dwell, the children of men, the beasts of the field and the birds of the heavens, make you rule over them all. You are the head of gold. Another kingdom inferior to you shall arise after you, and yet a third kingdom of bronze, which shall rule over all the earth. And there shall be a fourth kingdom, strong as iron, because iron breaks to pieces and shatters all things, and like iron that crushes, it shall break and crush all those. And as you saw, the feet and toes of partly of potter's clay and partly of iron shall be a divided kingdom, but some of the furnace of iron shall be in it, just as you saw iron mixed with the soft clay. And as the toes of the feet were partly iron and partly clay, so the kingdom will be partly strong and partly brittle. As you saw the iron mixed with soft clay, so they will mix with one another in marriage. So they will not hold together, just as iron does not mix with clay. And in the days of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that shall never be destroyed, nor shall the kingdom be left to another. It shall break in pieces all those kingdoms and bring them to an end, and it shall stand forever. Just as you saw that a stone was cut from a mountain by no human hand, and that it broke in pieces the iron, the bronze, the clay, the silver, and the gold. A great God has made known to the king what shall be after this. The dream is certain, and its interpretation is true. So the idea of a stone falling on the earth and crushing everything goes clear back to Daniel. There's also a quote here from Isaiah. So what Yeshua is saying is, if the stone falls on you, you will be crushed. Anything the stone falls on will be crushed. Anything, however, that falls on the stone will be saved. So when you fall on the stone, you are broken in the sense that your pride and your spirit is broken. That is different from having the stone fall on you and crushing you. So now let's go back to the parable here of the tenants. Well, who are the tenants? Principalities and powers. The spiritual rulers over this earth, who he is warring against. And it says, for example, in Daniel, where you've got the business with the prince of Persia, there are spiritual authorities over the earth. They had a job to do. They didn't do it. Instead, they corrupted us. and they prevent us from bearing fruit. So what he's saying is, when he sent his servants, who are the prophets, and they killed them, stoned them, and so forth, and then he says, I will send my son. And what they say is, aha! Here's the heir. Let us kill him, and then the vineyard is ours. And in Corinthians, God through Paul says, there's a mystery known to God, but not known to anybody else. And that mystery is that when you kill the Son, all of the Gentiles are allowed to become fellow heirs. And if they had understood this, they never would have killed the Son. That takes us to Revelation. And the whole deal in Revelation then, with the 7 seals, is establishing that he is the heir. That's what going through the 7 seals is all about. To establish that this one who was killed is in fact the heir. And then the 7 bowls of wrath are the master will come back and destroy those wicked tenants. So the whole thing comes full circle into fruition then in Revelation.